So rather than choosing what is normal, choose what is healthy.
Interesting.
What is healthy for you? So I think right now in Hollywood, it's very normal to take Ozempic to lose a lot of weight, right?
Mm.
How healthy is that? Actually, I don't know. I don't really know any of these celebrities who are doing this. But, it's become kind of a trend. So it's very normal in Hollywood to do this as a way to lose weight.
All right.
Perhaps if you have a medical condition, I think Ozempic was originally created for people with diabetes.
Mm.
So, if you take this, maybe it's much better for your health. But maybe there might be some things inside of Ozempic that cause you to have a negative reaction to it.
Variation.
Yeah, like you might get sick, you might have nausea. Is it really healthy for you to take this route, even
Mm.
if everyone else is taking that route?
Welcome back to the SelfSeed podcast. And today we are once joined again with Rossanna, who has graced us with incredible conversations in the past about mindset and self care. And so this time we're going to take things further to explore how you can live the life that you truly want. And together we'll try to uncover tools for self exploration and, most importantly, how to summon the courage to break free from normal and go after your dream life. Rosanna, it's a pleasure to have you back here on this little podcast.
Oh, yeah, it's so nice to be back on SelfSeed podcast. I really enjoy being on this platform and having these conversations with you, Emma.
Rosanna once said, we've always been talking and we're like, okay, maybe we should co-host together because Rosanna likes the podcasting. So I am glad to have you back again. It's a new year. It's another meeting. So happy New Year to you.
Yes, Happy New Year to you too.
I hope the year started well, graced you with good starts already.
Yes, actually, I think I've been very lucky with the start of the new year. How
Mm.
about with you?
I think so too. Almost 10 days to the new year, and I haven't faced any difficulty yet. Yeah. Well, so there's some, you have some worries about what's going to come and all that, but not bad, not bad.
Yeah,
Thank God, yeah. So maybe today, how I just think we can start with that idea of how to begin, because we are talking today about living the life that we want. We are trying to see what tools can we use, how can we get the courage to live the life that you want. And I've seen lately you have been administering about the changes, like people being able to accept themselves, you are enough and all that. And so I was thinking, how do we begin to identify what we truly want in life versus the society? How much the society or others will tell us uh, what we should be or what we should want. So how do we begin that phase of identifying?
yes, very good question. And I think this question is maybe especially impactful at the beginning of the year when people tend to make New Year's resolutions.
Right.
They've just finished the previous year, and it's kind of a natural time for many people to reflect on the past, look forward to the future,
Right.
and make some plans and goals. So I think maybe the first thing we can talk about is, the foundation, the mindset, as per usual, which is what I like to talk about.
Right.
And I think a lot of the times when we set New Year's resolutions, we tend to focus on the what. So, for example, I want to lose 5 pounds. I want to get a six pack. I want to get a salary raise. And
Right.
it's not to say that these are not important, amazing, great goals to have. I think they are very powerful. But what might be something that kind of holds us back from achieving these more tangible, results-driven kinds of goals is we might kind of miss out on actually the personhood of it. So who are we? And do these goals actually align with who we are? So rather than simply looking at what do we want, we can also ask ourselves, who do we want to become?
Right.
Who do we want to become? And I think this goes back to a very good question you asking me, and I will answer it now, which is, How do we identify what we truly want versus what society, other people are telling us what we should want?
Right.
And this question is a very simple, basic question, but I think it can be so powerful. And the question is, okay, who are we? Who are we? What do we want from life? What do we want from our life?
Yeah.
So, it can be a quite profound question, but it can lead to so many insights and rewards and results that truly resonate with who we are versus what society tells us who we ought to be. And one very simple, but again, powerful exercise we can do is we can look at our top values.
Right.
What are our top values? So some examples of values could be something like integrity, courage, kindness, wealth, money, power. These are all different kinds of values. I don't think any of them are right or wrong. It's just what fits you, what best suits you. And I actually have a list of values that I can send to you later. And if people want to look at this list of values as well, you can Google it, or if you want to contact me, feel free, and I can send you the list of values as well.
Sure. It's interesting because, the first episode I did this year, I was sharing about how you can set your New Year's resolutions based on just a single word. And this single word kind of aligns with get to know your values. If you really know your values, then you're able to pick one word that will resonate for the whole year, that you're going to set resolutions based on this word. So as you mentioned, something like integrity, if it is wealth, if it is power, then you're able to set everything else to correspond to this. And it's interesting because once we know who we are, then we are able to identify what we truly want in life. We are able to become like free, independent thinkers, kind of. And we are able to now start pursuing with agility the things that we really want in life. And because I understand that the one character for us to be to not be persuaded by the society, however, it's because we have personal values, personal principles that we stand on, that we are able to, the society sees this as the normal, but I see this as the true point. When you stand on the truth, let's say, then you'll not just be taken to any side anyhow. And so I'm thinking, for us to be able to identify these values, we kind of have to be self-aware. We have to know ourselves, right? Mm-hmm. So what does in your opinion, what role does self-awareness play in? What role does this self-awareness concept play in creating the life that we want, especially based on your experience? Let's say your own way that you have defined your life, or how you have helped clients so far. Is it really that important? And how important is it? That important? And then how important is it? Like in if we have to put a criteria on it or a level?
Yeah, again, a very good question. And I think, again, so many of these forces, you have to consider, the nature versus nurture debate. How much of it is innate and how much of it is influenced by our environment, right?
Right.
And it's usually, quite a balance of the two. So whatever you choose as your values, you feel are your values, you're probably going to be influenced by the environment around you in some way, form, or shape. But, how, again, a really good question, how important is self-awareness? I would say it's very important. And to add to this, I would say self-reflection is very important too. Because the way we can gain greater self-clarity, self-awareness is through self-reflection. And self-reflection, it is a skill that people, perhaps you are not as talented. I don't know if that's the right word to say, if you're not as talented or naturally skilled at self-reflection, but it's definitely a skill. So this means that it can be learned. And it is possible for people to gain self-reflection skills and therefore improve their self-awareness. And with my work with clients, I've worked with some clients who are not so sure who they are. And they're not so sure actually what they want from life too. So what can happen sometimes is, we start working together and we want to resolve this really big issue in their life. Okay, it's been resolved, but then after the issue's done, the client is like, wait, so what now? Like, so much of my life had been identified by this issue. Right. Where do I go now that this issue is gone, right? And this is where I found it very powerful to sit together and actually do some values exercises. And this is where it's helpful to have maybe somebody with you, like a counselor such as myself, or a coach, or a friend, a parent, someone you really trust, who can kind of be a soundboard to help you kind of figure out and discover who you are and what you want from life. So in the beginning, if you're kind of struggling gaining this skill of self-reflection, self-awareness, it can be very helpful to speak to somebody who you really trust and who knows you and is able to help you be honest with yourself. Of course, I think it's always great to have a supportive friend who will say, you're always the best, you're great, always cheering for you. But sometimes, and this is so normal, everybody will make mistakes. Everybody will kind of do something maybe they're not proud of. So it's very valuable to have this friend or somebody at your side who will help you to face the truth.
I'm very glad to know that, there's a way that we can fully try to identify who we are, because sometimes we are so caught up in the normal that we forget what we really stand for or what we initially were created for, the purpose on which we exist. And so being able to do these exercises and being able to reflect and then understand, okay, this is what I am accustomed to, but this is not who I am. This is not like the direction I would choose to go if I was in a common sense or in a normal state. So I think you have answered the question that self-awareness is plays the center role in all this aspect of setting values, defining whom we are and the life that we want. Because I cannot define a life that I want unless I understand who I am, unless I get to really reconnect with myself. But then comes the challenge that the society and then all family expectations, right? We already know, okay, this is who I am and I want to really go deep into it. I want to, all hands on deck. But then how do we balance, the society or family expectations with the pursuit of towards our own path? Because we want something that's one, but there's like a big world around us, and we are not the center of it. But definitely people would have expectations of what we should be. Let's say, simple example, our parents have expectations of which job should we get, what type of a parent we should become as well, when should we start our own families and all that. So then how do we balance this, these two things, our pursuit towards our own path and the family or society expectation?
Yeah. I think this one, it can be quite challenging, especially if we want to live up to those expectations. We feel obliged to in some ways,
right?
Due to maybe culture, etc. So for this one, I have two tips, and again, they're related to mindset, so it takes practice. So the first one I think that could be really helpful is try to remove the word should from your vocabulary. If you do not use should, what would it be instead? So for example, my parents say I should become a doctor. Let's replace should with something else. And why should? Should has a sense of obligation, owing, some guilt. Some people feel a bit of shame with this word too. So what we can see here is should can be a pretty loaded word, but usually should means so much more underneath the surface. So let's go back to the example. My parents say I should become a doctor. If we remove should, what would it become instead? Maybe my parents say they really want me to become a doctor. Because, so take away should, say the phrase, and sometimes it's helpful to add because. So my parents really want me to become a doctor because my father is a doctor and they want me to take over the family practice, for example. My parents really want me to become a teacher because it will give them status and help them feel more, feel like they fit in more in the neighborhood, for example. Other ways that we can replace the word should would be, for example, I should not eat chocolate because I want to lose 5 pounds. What we can say is, okay, I am craving chocolate, but right now I am choosing to eat fruit because I want to lose 5 pounds. So simply by shifting it, we can kind of see more clearly the intention behind it, but we can also maybe take away some of the obligation or guilt and make it more of a choice for us. So that's the first tool that we might want to explore to help us, stay centered with ourselves while balancing family, cultural, societal expectations. The other one, also kind of a mindset shift, and for every person, it'll be a bit different. But rather than choosing what is normal, choose what is healthy. So rather than choosing what is normal, choose what is healthy. What is healthy for you? So I think right now in Hollywood, it's very normal to take Ozempic to lose a lot of weight, right? How healthy is that? Actually, I don't know. I don't really know any of these celebrities who are doing this. But, it's become kind of a trend. So it's very normal in Hollywood to do this as a way to lose weight. Perhaps if you have a medical condition, I think Ozempic was originally created for people with diabetes. So, if you take this, maybe it's much better for your health. But maybe there might be some things inside of Ozempic that cause you to have a negative reaction to it. Yeah, like you might get sick, you might have nausea. Is it really healthy for you to take this route, even if everyone else is taking that route?
Oh, interesting. How you use two things to redefine the concept. First, you have to replace, the should with an alternative word, and replace, understand what is healthy for you. Because the society might want a lot of things. Let's say your family might want you to be a medical doctor, but my experience, those medical doctors, the people I studied with who wanted to be medical doctors, they studied too much, and maybe that's not good for you. And so you have to figure out what's healthy for you. And I'm curious as well to add on to that, because these are two ways in which we can use to redefine and balance the expectations of our society versus what we really want, what we really feel entitled to. That we are able to redefine words and we are able to choose what is healthy over just the norm. And so, what are some tools maybe that someone could use, a young person today could use to clarify their life's purpose? For instance, you have used maybe some tools to help yourself define your life purpose or your clients to define their life purpose? Because I initially, just minutes ago, I heard you say, some of your clients then come to say, okay, then what? Because now you have opened their eyes, but then what? How do they go from there? So what do you think are some important or just little tools or exercises that someone could that have helped you in per se or others clarify their life's purpose?
Yeah, okay, sure. So again, I think the values exercise is such a valuable tool because once you do it, you can keep going back to it. So I want to kind of describe here's a very simple way you can do the values exercise by yourself, okay?
Yeah.
So just take a list of many values and from there, choose 10 of them that really resonate with you. After you choose 10, and again, maybe the value isn't on that list, but just having this list can just give you a starting point. So, because otherwise you might have to spend a really long time brainstorming and such, which is okay if that's what you want to do. But I find for many people, having a frame of reference, a list of values really helps. So you can look at that list of values as a frame of reference, choose 10 that resonate the most with you. From there, define what each of those values mean. For example, peace of mind to me could mean something completely different from peace of mind to you.
Right.
So define each of those values according to what that value means to you.
Yeah.
Then sort the values in accordance to which one is the most important to you. So 1 being the most important, 10 being the least important. And what can help clients sometimes is if they start from 10 first, and then they move up to number 1. So when you do this exercise, in and of itself, it's already a really big exercise in self-awareness, self-reflection, and self-definition. You're defining those values and what they mean to you. And so when you're creating this lifestyle for yourself, you think, wow, I have so much capacity, I have so much time, I can really pursue my purpose. You can use your top values, your top 3 values, your top 10, to define what your life purpose is. And ensure that whatever path you choose is in alignment with your values. Yeah, I think there's a very powerful quote. I'm not completely sure who, I think Eleanor Roosevelt, but she said, values are like your fingerprints. You cannot see them, but you leave them everywhere. And so, instead of letting society shape your values, why don't you shape your values yourself? Because you're going to leave them on everything you do anyways. So you might as well leave the mark that you want to leave.
Yeah. Leave the mark that you want to leave. Let people know you are by the actions, by the life that you lived while you were with them. Because, people won't remember you. I think people won't remember you much for the assets that you have, but rather the impact that you have left. And so the impact is motivated by the value that you carry. And I like that the exercise of reducing the amount of values to 10 and then finding the top ones and constantly living according to that. I think that's very important, because I was about to ask the next question was, how can someone now uncover their core values and use them as a compass for decision making? But then it clearly the exercise itself will definitely give you if we're in an ascending order from 10 to 1, then definitely we have core values somewhere there, 1, 2, 3, or 5 or something, and we now use them in, as you say, like the saying that your values are like a fingerprint everywhere you'd leave them. And so this becomes the compass for decision making. You're constantly aware, okay, I'm in this environment, so I have to pay attention to the things I do, because eventually it will define what kind of a person I am, and people will definitely see me according to the things that I the values that I've shown in that environment. So Again, earlier on, when I was explaining to people about setting the yearly resolution by using one word, meaning using just one of your values this year and being able to encompass it. I highlighted something that we should give ourselves grace, because we should understand sometimes life doesn't work the way we want. And so, in as much as we would be so, focused, so motivated to go after the life that we want, but sometimes it might not go in our favor. And so we have to have self-compassion with ourselves, because sometimes we feel compassion for others, but we are so ignorant to show self-compassion, showing compassion to ourselves, that when we do mistake, okay, yeah, I did this mistake, and so I just need to, try again and try to find the places. So in your perspective, what's the role of self-compassion in the process of, self-exploration?
Yeah, good question. I think the way you speak to yourself will teach you a lot about yourself. And this is how you can gain self-awareness, more self-awareness, and from there decide, okay, is this what I want for myself? So how can we find out how we speak to ourselves? There's a few ways. One way is just free flow journaling. You just write whatever comes to mind. For some people who might not like to write, you could just record yourself speaking to yourself. Just say whatever comes to mind too. And look back, listen back to what you've written, what you've said, and you can really hear, oh wow, did I really say that about myself? Another way too is, kind of a form of meditation, I guess. So some people, they like to meditate. And what can happen when you meditate is there's one form of meditation is to just kind of watch the thoughts that go through your brain. Watch them kind of like clouds in the sky. Okay, here's one cloud in the sky and it's saying, oh wow, you're doing such a horrible job. There's another cloud in the sky saying, wow, you're so lazy. There's another cloud in the sky saying, hey, you're doing your best. So kind of just watch each of those phrases, clouds, and there's no need to judge them. Again, another way to practice self-compassion is, rather than judging, seek to understand. Rather than saying, wow, that's awful, you can say, okay, why? Why am I saying this to myself? Why do I speak to my friends so much nicer than I speak to myself? Why? And it is, again, through asking why that we can learn more about ourselves. And then we can take the why, find out why we're like this, and then figure out, okay, how can we change it if we want to change it? And again, a very simple way to figure out why is just to use the word that goes quite well with why, which is because. So why do I speak to myself in such a critical way? Now shift it to a statement with because. I speak to myself in such a critical way because, and then fill in that blank. I speak to myself in such a critical way because that's all I know. I don't really know how else to speak to myself. Okay, if you think that's what it is for you, so my assumption is you probably have friends. You probably don't speak to your friends like this. So just take the way you speak to your friends and slowly replace that with your own self-talk instead.
Being able to find the positives in your life and being able to, replace it and all that. I think it's very important. Self-compassion is very important, the same way that we want compassion, to show compassion to the ones suffering in this world, to the underprivileged and all that. We have to also learn to show compassion to ourselves, because sometimes we're so negative, if not critical, when it comes to our performance, when it comes to our actions. But we are okay when it's someone else. We are able to encourage someone else. Oh, it's okay. Tomorrow you have another chance to try. But let you do that mistake. You're like, why did I do it? How comes? So it's very important. Now, I remember one interview I watched, and it was Kobe Bryant. They were asking him, usually on the side courts, just while they're playing basketball, on the sides, usually sometimes there are celebrities just sitting there and watching the game. And he was asked, do you kind of pay attention to those? Do you see those celebrities? And he's like, nah. When I'm in the game, I'm just I am focused on the sport, and I don't care about who's there or whatever. And so it brought me to the concept that person thought about asking about the norm of when you see famous people, you definitely be paying attention to them, and your attention might be carried away. And the same with some circumstances, we might be carried away by the things happening around us, and we forget about what we initially decided to do, the journey that we decided to walk through. And so I'm thinking there are usually common fears, common challenges that when we try to break from the normal, like let's say the normal is when celebrities are there, you have to show appreciation that they're there, right? And to break from the normal, you'll have fears. Maybe, okay, how would people think this guy doesn't? How would even those celebrities who came to watch, let's say, our game in that perspective, our game, how would they feel that they are not recognized and all that? So there's this challenge of when we are trying to break from the normal, there's some things holding us back, either thoughts, either action, either whatever. So do you know some of the common fears or challenges that when we try to break from the normal? Because having the courage to break from the normal is one thing, but it's a daunting task as well, isn't it? There are things that will tell you, okay, everybody lives like this. Why are you trying to be different? What do you want to achieve? So what common fears or challenges do you?
Yeah, actually, I think you've said some of them already anyways. Like, everyone is living this way. Why should I live a different way? Who am I to live a different way?
Yeah.
Am I good enough? Oh, what happens if I make a fool out of myself? Oh no, everyone's going to see. Oh, I really don't like attention.
Yeah.
What if I look back on this and I really regret it? So I think these are very common doubts, thoughts, fears that will stem in people's minds. And I think the core of it is the fear of rejection. If other people reject who you become, reject your new job, for example, they do not accept the path you are taking. So a lot of this, I think, stems from the fear of rejection, and even some self-rejection too. Oh, do I like the person I've become? Am I proud of who I've become? Is this okay for me? And so one way we can look at this is to look at the opposite of rejection: belonging, acceptance. And asking ourselves, the question is, who am I to do this? Well, who are you not to do this? Why not you? And I think this is where it's very important, again, to look at our values. It's through our values we can ask, why did I choose to pursue this journey in the first place? If the reason I chose to pursue this journey aligns with my values, aligns with who I really want to become, really fulfilling my potential, and ideally helping other people along the way, then you probably will meet some challenges, meet some people who might question you, But if you have a very strong foundational core of why you are doing this, it aligns with your highest values, you can see the results, the impact you are making, then that will be enough to fuel you and help you along this path too. Because when you do this, you are growing your own sense of self-acceptance. And, usually on these kinds of journeys, there's some way that you're helping the community. So for example, let's say you do decide to, let me think. You decide to become a fitness influencer, right? In order to be like an influencer and a leader, you need to have people who are following you. So people choose to be your followers. But if they're choosing to be your followers, then they're saying you are worthy of me wanting to follow you in the first place. And usually people choose this because they feel in some way you are helping them. And so what will happen is people will want to, in this example, be your follower because they feel you're helping them. They already accept you, right? So I'm sure people will still have these criticisms, these fears, these doubts, but you'll be surrounded by so many people who think, oh wow, this is so great, I'm learning so much, I've lost a lot of weight. And for yourself too, if you have that own sense of self-acceptance, hey, I love what I'm doing, I'm helping so many people, I'm making such a big impact. I know some days I make mistakes, but overall, it's a net good, so let me keep going.
It's interesting. One thing came to my mind. I'm thinking, is it necessary to change? This question just came to my mind. We always talk about change in a positive light, and we're always advocating for change. And while you were talking about the ways in which we can, or the fears that we might have and how to overcome them, I'm thinking, is it necessary to change? What do you think? It's just a question that came right now, like in my mind.
Very organic, yeah. I mean, first, what do you mean by change?
I mean, like, let's say, we have these common fears, right? We're getting from, we need to change from the normal. Now, for a person just sitting there, maybe they're wondering, is it important really to change? What if life is okay like this? No, that. Because right now, as we speak about change, we're advocating for highly effective, someone becoming highly effective, someone becoming, living up to their potential and all that, living their dreams and all that. But what if someone is just relaxed? He's okay. He or she is fine in the space in which they are in. Is it necessary to change? In your perspective?
Yeah, actually, again, it depends on the person and it depends on who they are and what they want from life. And if they're completely fine with where they are, why not, right? I think, I think sometimes we get so caught up in the go, 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 need to change, need to get better, do more, achieve more. What if you're just happy where you are?
This question comes to that idea of like, let's say people advocate to read books, right? But not everyone is a fan of reading books. And in essence, not everybody is like given a capability to become a very good reader, isn't it? So maybe other people just prefer to watch content, to listen and all that. But, the community, the society now comes again with the concept of like, be effective. Let's say if you open your YouTube right now, probably there will be an advertisement saying, I'll choose these few books over a college degree. Meaning we are still advocating for read. Especially this is the practical thing I can talk about. But is it necessary that all 7+ billion people in the world, that they should be readers for them to become highly effective? They should change their routines to adopt to a new way or something. That's where these thoughts are springing from. We tend to, especially like, let's say, the effective leaders or people selling these effective causes or seminars and whatever that they do, they try to print as if this is the only right way that is the right way of being great, towards being great and all that.
Okay, I guess for me then, my first question would be, do you want to become an effective person? So what you're saying is, okay, read all these books, follow all these ways to become an effective leader, become an effective person. Do you want to become an effective person? Do you want to become an effective leader? Yes or no? So
let's say yes. Let's pick yes.
Okay, so I think what we can do then is just first take a clear look at where you are in your life right now, your position right now, and look at where you want to go, who you want to become. So let's say you want to become a very effective leader. So this is where you are, this is where you want to go, this is who you want to become. Now, what do you have to do to become this way, to become this effective leader? And this, again, is where it's very helpful to get some teachers, mentors, counselors, coaches, etc., to help you pave this path for yourself. And many of them will say, you're probably going to have to read at least a little bit to become this effective leader. So again, if this is what you want for yourself, you'll probably have to read. But if this is not what you want for yourself, then maybe you don't have to. So again, this is where it's important to know who you are, what you want from life, and how you can reach that point in your life. And maybe you're already there. You're already where you want to be in life. You can just enjoy.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Rossanna, for sharing this awesome tips and advice on how people can live the life that they want. Especially it's a new year, so I guess people are not so late to pursue whom they want to become. Be great. Do not conform to the ways of the world, but be transformed and all that, by the renewal of the mind. And so what's the last advice that you'd have for someone feeling stuck in a life that they don't love, but doesn't then know how to, they don't know where to begin, as your final remarks and all that?
Okay, I would just say then, again, this might be easier said than done, but I do think this is an essential component. So if let's say you're not satisfied with the way your life is right now, you really want to reach another point in your life and you're feeling very doubtful. An essential ingredient is to really believe in yourself. I know this sounds kind of cheesy, I'm sure many people say this, but there's so much truth to it. Really believe in yourself, but more than this, believe you are worthy of attaining this life that you do want for yourself. Believe you're worthy of attaining and having that lifestyle for yourself. Otherwise, some people, they'll reach that point and then they might self-sabotage. And a big part of that comes from not feeling you're worthy of it. So really, really work on deeply knowing you're worthy of more in your life.
Feel that you're worthy of something great in your life, something more powerful. Once again, you can remind the listeners about your service, and I know you have an upcoming event and all that. So be sure to share before I wrap up this episode. So welcome, and thank you for accepting to be on the podcast today. It was really, really awesome to have you and you sharing how we can live the life that we want, because many people, I think, they want to be someone great, but they don't know where to start.
Yeah. Thank you so much again for having me on your platform, Emma. As usual, I really enjoy this and I'm so happy to help. If you're listening, I really hope you found this helpful. If you want to reach out to me for the list of values or a free consultation, feel free to visit me on my website, www.rossannaho.ca. So that's ROSANNAHO.ca. And there you can find other ways to contact me through social media as well. So just visit the website first, and then you'll see all the other resources there.
Be sure to visit the website, and then it will take you to every other place. The home, the website is the initial starting point. Yeah. Thank you, Rossanna, for being on the podcast today, and to the listener, I hope you enjoyed. I hope you, learned something about setting up this new year. You trying to rediscover your values and living up to them. So don't forget, try to live according to your values, and hopefully God will help you become great. And thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe, and until next time, see you. Enjoy your time wherever you're doing.